Welcome to your weekly energy download. I'm here to help you understand the collective energy that's moving through all of us right now. Think of it like emotional weather that we can all feel. When we name it and understand it, we can work with it instead of against it. We're going to look at what energy we just moved through, what's showing up now as our invitation to grow, and how you can use this information to navigate your week with more flow and less resistance. Let's dive in.
Okay, hi. Before I get into anything specific, I just want to name the energy I'm holding as I press record. I want this to feel like we're sitting in a quiet room together. Like there's nothing you need to take notes on, nothing you need to do with this. Just a sigh, a little exhale, and maybe a sense of curiosity about where this is going. Because I'm not here to teach this in the way that I usually do. I'm here to share it from inside. This week, we have gate 11 in the sun and gate 12 in the earth. And when I noticed that shift into gate 12 on Sunday, something in me started stirring, swirling, but not in a loud way. It was more like a pull, a desire, almost a quiet itch to go back and look at something that I hadn't looked at in a long time. And what that ended up being was my teenage Facebook post, which feels really vulnerable to say even out loud. When I was in high school, I posted everything publicly: my feelings, my sadness, my confusion, my poetry. So much of it came from a really depressed soul, a teenager trying to understand why her life looked the way it did, why the world felt the way it felt, missing the innocence of childhood without necessarily having the language for that. And at the time, my dad didn't like those posts. So he locked me out of my Facebook account. He didn't delete it, he just made it inaccessible. I created another one, which is now my current one, but that's for a different story. And for years, I didn't really think about it. But as gate 12 moved into the earth, I found myself going down this rabbit hole, not even knowing the transit at first, just kind of noticing the patterns, noticing how I express myself poetically at certain times, and then how that expression shifted into something more raw, sometimes too raw, sometimes crossing into oversharing. There was even one post written very poetically where I planned my own death. And saying that now as an adult with more awareness, more tools, more support, it lands very differently in my body. What stopped me in my tracks was realizing that gate 12 was active during many of these times. And gate 12 is about voice, timing, mood, the courage to express, and the wisdom to wait. So here I was, years later, in that same energy, feeling a call to share again, and simultaneously feeling scared to be seen. What feels scary about being seen right now isn't actually messiness. I know in my bones that it's not messy. But I also know that to the outside world, it can look messy. Feeling deeply, oscillating through different emotions, very wide spectrumed emotion, letting sadness be present without rushing to resolve it. There's this fear that if I share from a tender place or a place that sounds sad or human, people won't see me as wise or grounded or someone who can hold others. Like somehow being human disqualifies me from being a guide. And what I'm learning about my voice lately is that whatever wants to come through on a given day is what's meant to come through. My voice isn't here to be consistent in tone, it's here to be consistent in truth. I have this ability to say things in a way that feels deeply personal and also strangely universal. And because I'm talking to other humans, it's actually okay to let that humanness show. I'll be honest, part of this shift for me, part of not using slides today is noticing how often I hide behind structure, how slides can sometimes keep me safe from fully being seen. And I'm not saying that slides are bad. They are helpful. They have their place. But right now, this energy feels like it's asking for presence over polish. So if you're listening to this and wondering what to do with gate 11 and 12, I'm not here to tell you. What I quietly hope is that you notice your own relationship with expression, where you hold ideas without needing to act on them immediately, where you feel a pull to speak, but you aren't sure about the timing, where what you've called shyness might actually be wisdom. And maybe you let yourself soften around that this week. Because one last thing I want to name, not because it needs explanation, but because it feels relevant. Even this shift, doing this as an energy weather download instead of a formal report, speaking instead of presenting, choosing presence over polish, that's gate 11 in the sun, lived, not forcing an idea into form, letting it be an experiment, letting curiosity lead. And honestly, it feels good to try something new without needing to know where it goes. That's all I wanted to share today. Not a lesson, not a framework, just an offering. And if you would like to have the official reflection prompts and the insights and the summary from today's meeting, I will still be doing that in the Substack. So you can grab the reflection prompts there. The link will be in the show notes.
Every Tuesday morning, we gather live in Limitless University for what I call our weekly energy alignment. We start by celebrating wins because your victories matter and deserve to be witnessed. Then we dive into the week's collective energy together, and we close in gratitude, setting the foundation for a week of flow and alignment. The transit report you just heard is one piece of our hour-long gathering. And there's something really special about experiencing this energy work in real time with other humans who get it. You can join us at diamonddripconsulting.com, and you can also find that link in the show notes.